So, Gecko, what have you been up to?
Well, so I just finished, making the Batman trailer breakdown, which
Yep.
you definitely haven't seen. If you've seen it, I'm gonna smack you in the head.
I've definitely not seen that.
Um, other than that, like I've been actually weird thing. As you can see, just offset here.
As I can see this.
we don't have a camera yet, so you can't really see it. But I have opened up my old Magic the Gathering cards and just been going through those. So just been seeing what I have, what I don't have, and stuff like that.
Speaking of which, something we could do next week is also some sort of a nerdy board game breakdown in our back and forth, maybe.
Oh yeah,
Could be fun.
Yeah. I like that.
Maybe just talk about some dice thrown.
Oh, good game.
Great game.
Actually, speaking of, not really speaking of Dice Throne, but going back to when I was talking about the Batman, we were talking about what the villain possibly could be, overarching or something like that. Was there anything else you wanted to say? I know I said.
Like I was saying, you got the easy answer in the Joker. I think that you have your more of
I think
crime lords in Black Mask. Mask. Black Mask. Sorry, we're not talking about Johnny Depp here. Though he could play Black Mask probably pretty well.
As much as I want to see Black Mask in it, I don't think we've ever gotten like a really good like Scarecrow villain.
Right, yeah, we got, a really good acting job in Cillian Murphy, but his character, Scarecrow, he wasn't the menacing, intimidating, just like pure chaotic evil that he is in the he just like he's more the wants chaos more than the Joker is in the comics. The comics, Joker is a lot more of a what's the word, like
he is
maniac type thing. Like he's in the Dark Knight, of course, does a great depiction of the Joker, but he is a lot more of that, like he has like he says he doesn't have a plan, but he has a plan to create chaos, right?
Yeah.
Whereas that is a lot more Scarecrow Riddler style, whereas the Joker's more like just kind of does what he wants, just to mess with the Batman type of thing.
Okay. Yeah, I would love to see Scarecrow be like a main villain.
I couldn't agree
in
more.
A movie, in maybe even like a newer Batman show, possibly if they come out with one. I would just love to see like a ton of villains that haven't really come to live action, like a good depiction of Bane, a good maybe even a Mr. Freeze pop up.
Ooh.
We could even see probably a good rendition of
a human bat.
Ooh. I mean, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but
no, man bat. Yeah, his name's man.
The human bat.
Hey, human spider. Got on that.
I would like to see a good rendition of Ra's al Ghul.
Ooh, yes. Liam Neeson.
I'm not saying Liam Neeson did.
No, but yeah, I feel like,
I feel like his role just wasn't well depicted in that movie. Then,
like definitely, he wasn't necessarily the Ra's al Ghul from the comics. Once again, I mean, he's a great character, but they definitely took their liberties in like creating characters that fit that world more than characters that were comic accurate. So yeah, seeing a comic accurate Ra's al Ghul would be pretty fun. And with that, you have the whole. I mean, he would be another really good overarching one, just because he has the whole assassins.
Yeah. Does Riddler work for Ra's al Ghul ever, or does like almost any other of like Batman's main villains? Like, does Joker? I mean, Joker's kind of a wild card, but
like the Batman comics are so vast and there's so many of them. They've been going for so long. There's a lot of crazy stories in there, including the Joker, yes, being one of in the League of Assassins. Yeah. So I'm sure I can't think of one where Scarecrow or Riddler is,
Really?
I do feel like Scarecrow somehow teams up with Ra's al Ghul at some point. But I mean, yeah, like the Batman just has such a long history and sordid history that I've read a lot of Batman comics, nowhere near enough to give a good answer on that.
Okay, not as good as like Marvel.
Yeah, I mean specific. Yeah, like if we're talking X-Men or Spider-Man, yeah, I can give you a lot better answers than Batman. But
okay, yeah, I would just love to see like. I think it would also be interesting to see like a super powered like a super villain pop up in a Batman movie.
Yeah, that would be very, very cool.
Like Clayface, Killer Croc. Not saying they're like good like main villain types in a movie, but I could also see him like as a good like big muscle dude.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, him having to use his wits and tech to beat super powered villains is always very fun.
Oh yeah. Is it anything else we want to talk about this? I mean, like
Two-Face is another interesting.
Oh yes,
one.
Forgot about him. I do feel like they kind of. I don't want to say they wasted Two-Face in The Dark Knight, but I felt like he wasn't. He just didn't have enough time.
I mean, that's another one where like they very much took their liberties to create a really great story with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not Two-Face from the comics at all. Like,
yeah,
Two-Face from the comics is a crime lord. Yes, the story of him being friends with Batman and stuff, of course, exists. But, yeah, Victor Zsasz.
Victor who?
Zsasz.
Zsasz, is that a?
He's the serial killer guy.
Yeah, with all the scars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Deadshot. That'd be an interesting villain to show up.
I would like to see Deadshot in a early on life of Batman, though. I don't know if he would. Well, he might show up. I
could see like a Black Mask or some sort of crime lord hiring Deadshot to go after him.
So let's say that. Here's this. Who would you say?
Deathstroke.
Ooh, Deathstroke would be a good one. Who would you say? Let's do this. Let's make a list of in early life of Batman. Who would you say would be a good villain character for a early life Batman movie?
It's really hard not to say like the ones that I've seen that I really liked, of course. Early life, I think Riddler for sure would be a really good one.
Mm-hmm. Because he's not a like super villain he's not really a villain becoming a villain because of Batman or because of anything. Really, it's more of he blackmails the rich and powerful.
Right. Of course, Penguin is more of that like.
I have this feeling that the Penguin or Cobblepot name was mentioned in The Dark Knight. I have this feeling. I'm pretty sure I'm wrong, but
I don't think Oswald Cobblepot's name's dropped.
Or just Cobblepot, or
could have been. I feel like it would have been like kind of big news and I would know about it.
Yeah,
but I can't.
But I feel like
it could have happened. I could have missed it.
I feel like maybe it could have been like an Easter egg put into the movie or something that. But yeah,
for sure. So yeah, I think for like early on villains, I think you got a
lot of mob bosses.
Yeah, when you got mob boss types where he's like trying to take down the mob would be really good, and that's where like Kingpin. Penguin. I don't know why I said Kingpin instead of Penguin. Black Mask. Then you've got the crazies like Mad Hatter, Mr. Freeze. That would be also pretty good ones to bring in early on. I'm sure Catwoman will show up, and you probably know if she will already. She's going to be in the trailer. She is. She's a good like anti-hero to
I refuse to answer that question at this time. Can you please speak to my lawyer?
I'm literally 100% sure she should show up in the movie. So,
like I said, I refuse to answer that question at this time.
Let's see. Yeah, I feel like those are kind of like the ones that it could show up early on and they'd be good. There's also like smaller villains that, Calendar Man.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it.
Those like a lot smaller villains that could show up just for, kicks and giggles. But
yeah, so what are your, can I ask this?
Clayface I also think is a pretty good early on villain to kind of face off as like a
really Clayface.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I would feel like almost any superpowered villains for Batman to face off early on, it would be kind of a letdown because
I do, but like I feel like that could be a really good way to show his strength early on. Like you have this Batman that you're creating a new Batman series, right? You don't want to be overshadowed by something. It'd be pretty good way to like take like a villain that is very physically strong, a Bane, a Clayface, and show Batman using like, oh, this is our Batman, whether he be really techie type Batman and he uses his tech to defeat him, really brainy type Batman, or the really physical Batman. Like I don't know exactly what Batman they're going for, but it'd be a good way to like show this is who a Batman is, put him up against just a brawn type villain and see how he beats him type of thing. So that's why I think like that would be a good first villain for him. Whereas like, a lot of like crime lords that we've been talking about are like the psychological villains. They don't tell you like they're more of like a long-term villain, right? That takes time to break down their organization, to figure out who they are, to solve the puzzles, whatever it is. Whereas a more brute type villain, it's just like, boom, they're there. How does he beat him?
Okay.
That's how I kind of feel about it.
Okay. Now here's another question for you, and I probably might answer this myself as well. What would be an expectation for this movie?
Like what? Like what's my biggest expectation?
Yeah, like what would be your biggest expectation? What do you want to see?
I want to see them not butcher Batman.
Are you saying like how they did? Are you saying that because they did it in Dark Knight? Are you saying that because
no? I'm saying more like Ben Affleck's Batman.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to see another. I want to see a deep Batman. I want to see us going into why Batman is the way he is. Because we've gotten good depictions of him, but I don't know that we've gotten too much of why he does what he does. And in that, I think we really need to get another good Alfred.
Oh yes,
because you can have Ben Affleck didn't do a terrible job acting. Jeremy Irons, love the guy. Horrible Alfred.
Yeah, horrible. I was not a fan of him as Alfred.
And I still have no idea who's playing Alfred. I've tried to stay away from the cast list and all that.
Stay away from it for now, please. Stay away.
Oh, I am. Don't worry. But here's the thing: I'm not stoked about Robert Pattinson. I like him in some movies. I very much dislike him in some movies. I think he's a good actor, but as Batman,
kind of
not my first choice.
Yeah.
So I think them delving into the psyche of Batman, what makes Batman do his thing, and having a really good Alfred could make up for any shortcomings that maybe his acting style for Batman would, take.
Yeah. So for me, what I want to see in a Batman, and they actually do this. I think they do a lot of it in The Dark Knight, but for me, it wasn't enough. I want to see more of Batman being a detective.
For sure.
Like he's breaking down the crime scenes. He's going through the crime scenes and he's like putting the pieces together.
Yeah.
And he's in the Batcave. He's doing all this stuff. He's putting it all together on the computers.
I love that. Love that.
Like I would love to see that.
I couldn't agree more. Like, okay, here, I'm going to tell you kind of what I think the movie's going to do. A couple of things, and you can tell me, you can, if you want to, you can be like, oh, that's, I'm thinking the same thing, or wow, Rogue Gambit, you're on the right track, or no, Rogue Gambit, the trailer is completely different. You're ridiculous. But I'm just going to say some things that I kind of expect from them, not necessarily like are my expectations, but like what I, just based on who's playing Batman, that I know that there's going to be multiple villains. Just some things that I think might be storylines that they come across.
Okay. Go for it.
So I kind of see with Robert Pattinson being Batman, this first movie, they're going to deal a lot in Bruce Wayne. I think that makes sense since it's going to be early on Batman. So I think there's going to be a lot of Bruce Wayne interacting, since I am sure Catwoman will be in there interacting, in high society.
Yeah.
Him kind of getting into that boss. Like, I'm pretty sure Penguin's going to be in the movie where he like sees, where what the underworld's up to. And so I think there's going to be a whole lot of Bruce Wayne, which I think is very smart with a actor like Robert Pattinson. Sorry, lost his name for a second. I think that's very smart because Robert Pattinson, just like the way he acts, like I think he would make a lot better Bruce Wayne than Batman. And so it kind of might be a little more of a hope that they do that, but I think that they will be on that side. And if they are on that, I think there'll be a lot of him doing detective work, especially with a Riddler type villain, main villain. I think he is. I think, he'll be seeing this underworld. He'll be researching that, trying to figure out more about that, maybe even combating it as Bruce, combating that as Bruce Wayne, not just Batman, and then realizing that he has to be Batman to be able to take down this big of threat as the Riddler.
That's a very, very interesting. That's a very interesting perspective on what you think what would happen. If you'd like, I can tell you what I expect to happen.
I mean, yeah, as long as you're not giving away key details.
So, dang, I kind of lost my train of thought here. I would. Actually, how about this? It's actually more of what I want to see because it is early on in the life of Batman. I would also kind of like to see, as you were saying, see them focus more on Bruce Wayne with Robert Pattinson, being the Bruce Wayne. I would like to see him trying to figure out like how to, balance his outside world with the Batman world, which one's going to dominate in it.
Oh, interesting.
So, because, there's a lot of, in The Dark Knight, there's a lot of scenes that depicts that he is more Batman than he is Bruce Wayne. But I honestly don't know what they plan to do with something like this. I don't know if they are going to be doing a lot more Bruce Wayne. I don't know if they are going to be doing a lot more Batman. I don't know if they're going to be doing just the street on the road. But I would love to see it more of like him trying to balance between the two worlds that he has.
Yeah. I guess the last thing I'll kind of say there, I also expect him to be a very techie Batman.
Oh, that's an interesting
less of a
thought.
Kind of like in the Dark Knight trilogy, he has his tech that he uses, some very advanced tech, but he's more of like a brute force Batman, you might say. I kind of see him more as like using other methods, and then again, that might just be my hopes coming through there, because that's kind of who Batman is, right? He is physically imposing and very capable in a fight, but he would rather just get the upper hand through his knowledge and technology, and then use that upper hand to win the fight.
That's interesting. Seeing as it is, I just find it difficult because, again, it is confirmed that it is early on in the life of Batman, like we've been saying. So I could see it difficult because to be honest, I actually have no idea if he has like any electronics.
Have you not even like seen a Batmobile?
I've definitely seen the Batmobile.
Oh,
That's the only thing I've seen of it. I mean,
wow.
I've seen a couple
Have you
screens.
seen you've seen in the cave? Okay. But you haven't seen gadgets and...
I'm guessing it's the cave.
Okay.
Not even good shots of the cave. Like, it was a very well done trailer, I must say.
Sounds good.
But I will say, so what I think it's going to be is going to be kind of what they were doing in Batman Begins, in a way. In a way.
Yeah. Alrighty, anything else on that? Should I get into what I've been up to?
Yeah, let's move into you. We've kind of went a little overboard.
That's fine. I haven't been up to much. Getting no sleep.
Are you still writing?
Yeah. I've been kind of transferring my physical writing into digital form recently. So I've been typing a lot of already written stuff. Haven't really written too much new stuff. I was working a little bit last night when I couldn't sleep on where one of my stories might go.
Okay.
It finally warmed up again, so I got out and played disc golf.
Nice.
Speaking of disc golf, the first tournament happened last weekend, Las Vegas Challenge.
How'd it go?
It was pretty crazy. So my favorite player wasn't playing in it. Yeah, Paul Macbeth was not there. He will be in the memorial. But Gannon Burr, who's a 16-year-old that I really, really liked. I've liked him ever since he kind of broke onto the scene last April. He was playing incredibly well, and so he was winning for most of the event. At 16, and he was just killing it. It was beautiful. He ended up getting caught at the very end by Drew Gibson, who I like, not too much. They tied, and then went into extra holes, and Gannon Burr ended up losing in a playoff. So it was very, very exciting.
I haven't seen much of Gannon Burr. I haven't. I mean,
he's six. He was 15.
I don't think I've actually even seen him play.
I don't think you would have seen any of the events he played at last year. But
Paul Macbeth.
Right. So he came on 15 last year. Made lead card at Waco, and then had a couple of other good finishes, some really good, and then actually in the Pro Tour finale at the end of the year, he had a really good finish. But because he's 15, he didn't have a driver's license. His mom has to take him places, so he's not able to get to all the events.
Yeah.
But this year he's getting to a lot of events. I think he's going to do fantastic. I really hope he does. He's such a cool kid. He's so well spoken. Love his interviews. Love how calming he is. He had a really unlucky shot. He had a couple of really unlucky bounces that kind of helped Drew Gibson catch him, including his last throw on hole 18. If he would have put it close, he would have won the event. And he hit right where he wanted to, but it's had a big skip and went out of bounds.
Ooh.
Yeah, and so you could tell he was just crushed. He was very disappointed, but he still came back the next playoff. They were tied next playoff hole. Well, he first made the putt, a 20-foot putt. Even after that happened, just bangs the putt.
Really? Wow.
Goes first playoff hole ties, second playoff hole tie. Yes, he was very disappointed and crushed, but he shook it off, played great for all the playoff holes, and just happened to get outplayed at fourth one, I think. So I'm very excited to see him going forward. I'm really excited this weekend to see Paul Macbeth play the Memorial Championship.
What was the last one he played in?
Paul Macbeth, yeah. So the last Pro Tour would have been the Pro Tour finale back in October.
Okay. So it's...
it's the off season, right? It's just been the off season. He took some time off. He went down to Florida, where it was warm, so he could do some practice and everything.
Do I need to ask, are you stalking this man?
I played the fifth. I watch all his YouTube videos and pay attention to what he's up to.
Oh, and
I don't stalk. Yeah. So anyways, and he'll be playing this week. I can't remember if the Memorial's this weekend or next weekend, but He'll be playing in that, and I'm pretty excited because he wins that. It's called the Mick Memorial for a reason. He wins it a lot.
All right.
And I'm pretty excited to see him come out and hopefully dominate, show that he's still the best disc golfer.
This will be the 1 year he doesn't.
Don't say it.
I know. I shouldn't say that. He'll win.
Last year was hard enough with him losing. Holy shot.
Anything else going on?
I've been doing a lot of stuff for back and forth aside from that. So
yeah, there's a lot. All right. I think we shall.
Well, I think we're going to actually I do want to talk about expectations for these movies coming up in the Phase 4 of Marvel.
Oh,
so there's 5 slots that when they release their the dates that they're coming out, that we don't know what movies are coming on these dates. So there's November of 2023, February of 2024, May of 2024, July of 2024, and then November of 2024. So this year, right, we're getting May, July, November, then February, and then Guardians of the Galaxy, May, and then December. But then or Quantumania, and then so we're getting 4, and then we're getting 4 again, and we don't know which ones those 4 are going to be. But we know what's coming, right? We know there's a Fantastic Four movie that's not on the list that has to be in there somewhere. We have the 4th Spider-Man movie. We have the Mutants movie. We have we know that's Guardians of the Galaxy's on. Can't remember all those, but which ones are coming first, we don't know. So I guess I can give you my speculations if you want.
Yeah, I would love to hear your speculations.
So I think the November 2024 spot is going to be Spider-Man. First off, the 4th Spider-Man will be coming out. He's been either July or November, so I don't think he'll be the early slot.
Okay, really fast. So we know the dates for at least a Marvel movie coming out. We just don't know what type.
Yeah, we know the next 10 Marvel movie dates, but these 5 don't have titles to the dates.
Okay.
So I think first off, I think Spider-Man is going to be one of those last ones in 2024. I think Fantastic Four is either the November 2023 slot, the first one, or the summer of 2020. I think it's going to be a big one, right? It's going to either be really late 2023 or the summer of 2024, in my opinion. Maybe May. It could be May. I don't think it's February.
That's a good distance away.
Yeah,
it's about 2 years away.
I mean, I'm pretty sure it'll be. I think it'll be the November. So yeah, a year, just under 2 years away.
Okay, because should we expect to see Spider-Man pop up in any other Marvel movies? Or
I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up in some other Marvel movies. I don't think, or Tom Holland Spider-Man, I don't think will show up in Multiverse of Madness. I wouldn't be surprised if Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield's did. But I don't think Tom Holland's will. Thor Love and Thunder, I don't think. Black Panther, I doubt it. The Marvels, I doubt it. Guardians of the Galaxy, I doubt it. After that, we're getting into the movies I don't know really what's going on. Quantumania, he could show up in. I wouldn't be too surprised. Ant-Man's always kind of brought in some other heroes every once in a while.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too surprised if he shows up in that, especially with Kang being the main villain in that movie. There could be a lot of other Avengers showing up.
I don't know if it was you who told me, but I heard something about Quantumania. I don't know if maybe we watched something together, but I heard that they may go to the TVA in Quantumania.
I mean, based on what I've heard, like Kang's going to be the main villain. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a lot about the quantum realm. It's going to be a lot about time. It's going to be a lot about the dimension. So I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I haven't heard that specifically.
Heard that when in the first Ant-Man, when he's going through the quantum realm, when he's shrinking and shrinking,
right?
There's a city you can see,
yes,
and everybody thinks that's the TVA.
Interesting.
So, I don't know.
I have heard that. Yeah, I'm sure. With Kang being in there, the TVA will probably show up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Spider-Man, I would not be surprised if Spider-Man showed up in the Fantastic Four at all, right? They're in New York.
Yeah.
They deal with Spider-Man a lot in the comics. I mean, it's one of the very first Spider-Man comics. He goes to the Fantastic Four, ends up fighting against the Human Torch. Wouldn't be surprised at all if he showed up in that movie. So that's the other one. Deadpool, that's the other one. That's probably one of these.
Okay.
The Mutants movie I see coming May of 2024 probably.
Ooh.
Deadpool, I can't decide if it's going to come before or after. It's either the February. I'm going to say February 2024, and then the last one being something forgot. But yeah, that's kind of how I see it playing out. Yeah, I'll definitely keep you guys posted on that. I'm super excited and also, still a little wary on where this phase is going.
Out of those movies, I think the one that I'm really excited about is Mutants.
For sure, Mutants. Shockingly, the Marvels I'm pretty excited about just in case Rogue comes.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if something happens in one of these earlier movies, we know that mutants are in the MCU,
right?
That'll make us believe that will make us confirm that the mutants are in the MCU.
Sure.
So we may see them
I wouldn't be surprised if we start getting mutants showing up in movies before their movie for sure.
Yeah.
Especially like a Deadpool or Wolverine or something. Mm-hmm, Professor X, somebody who is already pretty well known. Them just showing up. And ones that even work by themselves sometimes, a Gambit even, Sabretooth, as a villain, somebody just showing up that works on their own. But yeah, so I am, I guess, kind of the most excited one. I'm probably, I guess, is probably Spider-Man 4.
That one
mainly because Spider-Man hasn't let me down yet.
Yeah, true.
Yes, I'm excited for the mutants, but I'm also terrified what they might do. Because they could very easily just do this whole cash grab with all these cameos from old characters and not really build stories well, which I'm definitely worried about. And then also the Fox universe is not the best. So if they make that canon and have to try to build up that could be pretty bad as well. So yes, I'm excited. I love mutants. I'm very excited. There's long history of mutants in comics, so they have tons of stories to draw off of, right? But they could pick the wrong ones pretty easily. There's some bad ones out there, just as many as there are great ones, right?
I can understand that. It is.
So I guess, I'd be the most excited for Spider-Man just because they haven't let me down on that.
True,
and
true.
The cliffhanger they left me on really left me looking forward to what's coming. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, Fantastic Four, very similar to the Mutants, right? I love the Fantastic Four. I think Reed Richards could be a huge hit in the MCU. He could.
Oh, yeah.
He could really be like the Tony Stark of the multiverse, basically, right?
Ooh.
I mean, that's kind of who he is. You have the Council of Reeds, he is a futurist that tries, he's the smartest man in every room, like I said, last episode or something. He could be incredible if they pick John Krasinski like we all want them to. He's an incredible actor. But based on the last 4 depictions of Fantastic Four, I have low expectations.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I'd have to pick Spider-Man 4 for my most excited. More recently, of course, Multiverse of Madness. I'm super, super, super excited for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's one of the newer movies. Come on now.
Yeah, I'm saying. And just that's what I said. In the near future, that is.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else we want to do? We want to talk about before we wrap it up here?
Yeah, I think we don't quite have enough time for a game or anything today.
Yeah, we went just a little too long. I mean, a lot of great things said.
Excited about talking about all that, but maybe we'll get multiple trivia games or something for you next week. We'll see. We'll see.
Something heavy, something where I will win.
Keep dreaming, bro. Alrighty, we'll wrap it up then.
All right. We'll talk to you all later.